Fashion has been an integral part of filmmaking since the very beginning, just as it played a pivotal role in live theater for thousands of years before movies even existed. Clothing is about self-expression, and the fashion choices of characters in films play a major role in how they're perceived. There are few creative mediums that go together quite like fashion and film. Whether it's a director's knack for capturing the dramatic movement of a gown on screen, or the contributions to the movie world made by fashion designers over the decades, the symbiotic relationship has created some of the most memorable on-screen moments of all time. So whether to satisfy your curiosity about an industry so often wrapped up in mystery, to provide the backstory to some of the most important moments in fashion history, or simply to indulge in a little sartorial escapism, here, find all the most iconic films about fashion you can watch now. As far as fashion films go, they don't get much more joyous than funny-faced Audrey Hepburn stars as Jo Stockton, a shy New York City bookshop assistant who dreams of studying philosophy in Paris. Her aspirations are realized through the unlikeliest of means after she becomes a muse to the celebrated fashion photographer Dick Avery, played by Fred Astaire. Packed with gorgeous Parisian set pieces, delightful tunes by George and Ira Gershwin, and exquisite dresses crafted both by legendary costumier Edith Head and regular Hepburn collaborator Hubert de Givenchy, it's a perfect ode to the joys of haute couture. Who Are You, Polly Maggoo's vision of the swinging 60s is altogether more surrealist and willfully satirical. Directed by the American photographer and filmmaker William Klein, the film pokes fun at the excesses and frivolities of the fashion industry in a way that manages to be both glamorous and grotesque. Come for the costumes, which offer as a brilliantly realized time capsule of 1960s style and have since inspired Jean-Paul Gaultier and Marc Jacobs. And stay for the brilliant performance by Grayson Hall as Miss Maxwell, an imperious Diana Vreeland-esque fashion editor whose pithy remarks can make or break a career. In Robert Altman's sprawling, starry, and very much satirical ode to the fashion industry, nothing is quite as it seems. Employing the filmmaker's signature mockumentary style, there are celebrity cameos from the likes of Julia Roberts, Sophia Loren, and Lauren Bacall, all playing various fashionistas descending on Paris Fashion Week in the wake of the death of Olivier de La Fontaine, the head of the city's fashion council. While the film was both a critical and commercial bomb, the initially bemused response of the fashion industry has softened over the years into affection. As a document of the thrilling heights of the 1990s runway show, there's no better film to watch. As far as bringing the rarefied, secretive world of fashion media into the spotlight goes, few films have been as successful as The Devil Wears Prada. Starring Meryl Streep in a thrillingly vicious, Oscar-nominated turn as the editor-in-chief of Runway magazine, we follow the journey of Anne Hathaway's initially style-illiterate Andy Sachs as she enters this cutthroat world as Miranda's assistant. An endlessly quotable and uproariously funny insight into the obsessive nature of those who work in fashion, the film also benefits from brilliant supporting performances by Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci. But could the real villain of the film in fact be Andy's boyfriend? It only takes a quick scroll through Twitter to see that debate roaring to this day. If you're looking for a dose of fashion history, you can't go wrong with Audrey Tautour's sublime performance as Coco Chanel in her early years as a seamstress, before she would go on to found her eponymous house that would redefine the modern woman's wardrobe. With the help of elegant cinematography and art direction, and perhaps most memorably, stunning style moments courtesy of the French costume designer Catherine Leterrier, whose work on the film earned her a Kaiser Award, it's the rare fashion biopic that goes deep below the surface, offering a moving insight into the inner world of the designer it profiles. You may need a strong stomach to sit through some of the more grisly moments of Nicholas Winding Refn's psychological horror, The Neon Demon, but you'll get your reward through plenty of eye-popping fashion too. Elle Fanning's young modeling ingenue soon gets swept up in the scene's darker underbelly, resulting in demonic possessions, serial killer photographers, and a particularly horrifying final sequence involving an exorcism, necrophilia, and a lot of blood. While its sideways swipes at the darker corners of the fashion industry may be a little heavy-handed, the Neon Demon makes for a bracing and gloriously gory guilty pleasure. Few films capture the obsessive, exacting nature of haute couture as deftly as Paul Thomas Anderson's claustrophobic and brilliantly eerie Phantom Thread, which charts the relationship between the high society designer Reginald Woodcock, loosely based on Charles James, and a young woman he meets at a seaside cafe who becomes his muse. Daniel Day-Lewis's Oscar-nominated performance is more than matched by his co-stars Vicky Krieps and Leslie Manville, bringing this dark fairy tale to vivid, believable life. Phantom Thread's window into the world of post-war fashion is an intoxicating, beautifully woven fairy tale, but one that ultimately feels closer to a nightmare. While Disney's fantastical take on the world of fashion may be a little far-fetched, it gets more right than it does wrong. It tells the origin story of 101 Dalmatians' infamously stylish villain Cruella Devil, here played in her youth by Emma Stone. Her beginnings as a renegade fashion designer, when she pushes back against the florals and frivolity of 1960s London style, and introduces something darker and more dangerous to the mix, has plenty of parallels in real-world figures such as Vivienne Westwood and John Galliano. The costumes may be ahistorical, albeit intentionally so, but the tale of egos and excess in fashion is undoubtedly timeless. And we reach the end of the video, so here is our list. If you have other suggestions, please share your opinions with us in the comment section, and also consider clicking the like and subscribe buttons for more content to come, and see you next time.